So I want to tell you what I'm working on and why I'm putting out the videos that I am. It's because these are the subjects that I've been led to research. I've been led to research the alternative of a lot of these things that we've been told. I don't hold an ideology, guys. I'm a truth seeker. I follow what Jesus puts on my heart to look at. And not everything about everybody's teachings I agree with, but I've been just compelled to let you guys see what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to make anybody's decisions for them, but this is what he's been saying. Look at the other side. Look at the other side. See if there's truth in the other side, because he's been making me look at a lot of history, which that's been my love all along, is history. But looking at Constantine, the takeover between, when you think about the Protestants and the Catholics, you know, the wars that have been going on in England, Scotland, Ireland, you know, for centuries, and how they had the ruling fighting and taking over. Basically, England came in and took over, or I should say Rome came in and took over, because England was at one time part of the whole nation. It was the Isles, the whole nation, and there. And so I've been looking at that history now with new eyes, and because that's what happens. You know, sometimes you got to start going over some of the history that you might have looked at before with new eyes. And I've always been interested in the royals through the centuries. That's been a really fascination. So I've always read on that. That's sort of where my fascination has always led me to, even if it was just a novel. It was like that, not medieval, but the castle kind of era, when you're looking at all the queens and the kings and the successions and the wars and stuff like that. Fascinating stuff. But I never understood the reason. I knew that they were fighting against, like, you know, Protestants, and they had to convert to either Catholic or Protestant. It depended on who was winning at any particular time. And we know a lot of them had, royals had their heads chopped off, like Anne Boleyn. And, but I never understood what was the big deal. And so that's what I'm looking, what was the big deal? Why was it this Christianity was warring over this Christianity? Like, what was the difference? I never looked into. I just thought that, you know, one believed in divorce. That's kind of all they ever talked about, was Henry VIII, that he wanted to get a divorce so that he could have a male son, because his wife only seemed to produce females. And that's kind of like where they always led you, why there was a split in the church. And so that's where I'm looking at. And so that comes with a lot of doctrinal changes that happened around that time. So these are the kind of things that he has laid on my heart. And so those are the kind of things that you're going to see. I'm going to be presenting both sides of the story as much as I can. I'm not really presenting I'm not going to really present the side that you guys all know, because it's already been done, and why waste my time? I'm going to present the other side and other people who have done the research. The subjects that I'm bringing out, these are not the videos that made the only, I just think that this video, this person that is doing this particular one, not necessarily their whole scope of everything that's in their library, but this particular one, that they seem to have the closest to what I believe, what I have gotten from looking. And so that presents that side of the argument. So this is really what it is. It's a debate. Let's have a debate. Let's have an open discussion. Let's not do name calling. I have been called names. Not necessarily on my channel, but presenting this kind of an idea to look on the other side. Been called names, so I know that there is persecution ahead for presenting anything that looks any different than what you've been told. But I am looking at the fundamental changes that happened, and what was the basic a belief system before those fundamental changes. And what were the fundamental changes? Where did the traditions coming from, like Christmas and Easter, what were really, like, that's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at, is all of that evil? What was the original intent? What we call paganism, is that truly Christianity? I'm looking at that. That's where he's putting my eye on, to look at that argument as well. So not saying any of this is correct, and it may bring us all back to where we started, and that is confirmation. But it may, as what I've seen by researching this kind of stuff and him really bringing it out since everybody has been vaxxed, he's really brought this out to me, this information, to really start looking at this stuff and put out this stuff that he's been bringing to my attention. And please take it in prayer that you never get deceived. But remember, the whole thing is that to keep your eye on the kingdom, but we really have to see what is the kingdom and what is our history. Because as I've been looking, as you guys look at my videos, we have seen a lot of changes in history that we don't know about. So that is what I'm doing right now, and those are the kind of videos. I love you all. I'm holding close to Christ. I'm holding close to him. Live and love light.